So this is what it looks like. I've been doing a lot of editing to just the flow of the game and some of the cinematics. I reordered the buttons of the animation. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name's Leah and I'm an indie game developer currently working on the indie game Kitty Corner Cafe. And in this video, I'm gonna take you with me through my progress so far. So grab a little drink or snack and let's get into the vlog. So it's been a while since I last updated you guys on the progress that I've made, and lately I've been working on finishing up implementing the songs in the game and then also doing bug fixes here and there and doing some of the final editing of the writing for the demo. So I'm going to show you guys some of that now. So I'm going to show you a couple of the tweaks that I did. First, in the customization, I reordered the buttons of the hair colors to kind of match up in an order that made more sense. They used to be a little bit more random, so now it's like these are a lot of like more natural hair colors, I guess, up top, and then more like fun or unique hair colors on the bottom. So that's like one thing that I added to this customization portion of the game. The next part that's going to show is like a cinematic part that I added. So it kind of just like, you can see how dirty my laptop screen is, but it fades in more smoothly than it used to. And so does the text box when it appears on screen. And then I also added in a new version of the sprite alarm clock. So it'll say 10:30, which is just more accurate to the actual branching that I had in the game, because in one option you'll wake up late and one option you'll wake up early, and we want the alarm clock to have different times on it to account for each one. So that's one thing that I fixed. And then also just the like fading out is smoother than it used to be. And then also here, so see how that text box just flashed on screen like on and off? So that's something that I've been trying to fix in the game. I've fixed it in other spots, but obviously right here I need to fix it still. So the idea is that the text box would stay on screen instead of flashing away and then coming back. So that's some of the like cinematic transition elements that I've been improving in the game. But yeah, let me know what you think of some of the changes that I've made here and what you think of the alarm clock little illustration. Yeah, hope you enjoyed that little update, and I'll see you when I have another one. Hello, so it's been a little bit since I filmed the last clip, but it is a Wednesday morning before I go to work. I actually had one work meeting this morning at 8 a.m., but I don't start until 9, so I have a little bit of time in between when the meeting finished and actually starting work. So I have been working on some artwork for Kitty Corner Cafe that I needed to do. I'm just making like edits to things, but then also creating some new small illustrations to add to the demo. So I'm gonna show you those really quick. So here is my iPad with Procreate open, and this is one of the things I've been working on, which is the metal sign that hangs up outside of the cafe. For some reason the edges of this look really not smooth, so I'm going to redraw that. I don't know why it looks so unsmooth on that top bar, but the rest of it looks pretty decent in my opinion. Let me know what you think of this design and if it feels easy to read. I'm thinking I can reuse this on my Steam page as well as like a little part of the description, maybe even an icon for the game if I don't use like a icon of just an illustration. And then something else that I created is this illustration, which you've seen before probably in one of my previous vlogs. Here's Marcy. So these are aprons that you can maybe purchase at the farmer's market in the game, but I wanted to add versions where you could, you know, take them off the hangers and then actually just have the hanger for that robe be there only. So this is like what it would look like if you had chosen the first hanger and taken it off. So I was working on cleaning that up, and now I just need to actually implement it into the code and create like an animation for it, because I kind of want it to be like you can take it off and then it will shake the hanger a little bit and then turn into the version without the So something that I want to show you is all the versions of this background that I export to be able to animate it. So when I drew it, I have like multiple layers for different items, especially the ones that I want to be animated. So this is everything in the background that will be static and not animated. And so I will first export this as a PNG. And I'm just going to save it, and then I'll be able to airdrop it to my laptop. And then after that, I need to remove everything in the background and have only each of the robes. So you can click and hold. You have to have the group checked on, but then you can have, so I'll have to export a version that's just no background with just each robe, since I want that to be animated. So I'll go ahead and do that for all of these. And then, now that I've done all of the aprons or robes, I keep calling them robes, but they're really aprons, I will do the same thing for the hanger placements. So they will each be in the proper spot. I could do just a one hanger, but then I will have to make sure in the code that I place it in exactly the right spot. So I'm not sure which I'll do yet, but I'm going to export for now just the version of just one hanger in each placement and see if that's good enough. And if it's not good for the animation, then instead I will crop this to be really small and just be the hanger, and then I'll have to use the code to place it on each spot on the rack that it belongs to match up with the placement of these robes. Hopefully that makes sense, but I'll show you guys the results once I get that implemented. Good morning. So it's a new day, but I wanted to show you the updates that I made to the animation that I was talking about. So if you're visiting the clothing stand and then you see the background blurs a little bit, I might lighten up the blur effect slightly. I'm going to skip the way to the choice, and I'm going to do a simple version so you don't see all of the options. So now when you hover, it will be highlighting just the robe itself, or the apron. I keep calling them robes. And then when you click on one, we have that little animation where the hanger will like move and then you pull it off. So I'm really happy with how that looks. I had to update the sprites a little bit, but it is something that's fully animated in Ren'Py instead of actually creating and importing an animation. So we just have different layers and types of sprites that are in here. So we have all of these aprons attached to the hanger, and then we have just the hangers themselves. And basically whenever you click one, it's switching from this version of the sprite with the apron to the version just with the hanger. So it'll swing this way to the left, and then it'll switch sprites and then continue the animation. So you can kind of see it there. But yeah, I think this turned out really well so far. So let me know what you think in the comments. The next thing that I want to show you guys is the animation that I made with the Kitty Corner Cafe sign. So I'm gonna click and you'll see the animation. So this is what it looks like. I added a little drop shadow behind it to make it stand out from the background more. And then I added like a little sparkle. So I decided not to do like a fully colored in background and instead keep it transparent, since that kind of makes it seem more like it's immersed in the cafe that you've just decorated and customized. So yeah, let me know what you think of this version of the sign. And I think this will be something that I use on the Steam page as well. So I hope you enjoyed seeing some of the clips of what I've worked on for Kitty Corner Cafe so far in the last month or so. I've been doing a lot of editing to just the flow of the game and some of the cinematics of the transitions. So let me know in the comments what you thought of the art that I added and the animations that I added in this little span of time. Up next, I'm just gonna continue polishing up the demo until I feel like it's ready, and then I'll be working on the Steam page for Kitty Corner Cafe. So stay tuned if you want to see more of that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.